my name is Terry Swears. I'm a member of the Millennium Software Support Team. Today, we're going to take a look at how to import data into Atrex. Atrex allows you to import inventory, customers, and vendors from an external data source. The process for importing the data is the same regardless of what you are importing, so we'll use the inventory stock code import function for today's example. From the main Atrex menu, select Options, Import, and then select Stock Codes. The first step is to specify what format your import source is in. Atrex can import directly from several databases such as DBase or ElevateDB, the database that Atrex uses, or any ODBC data source via the ADO option. Atrex can also import from multiple file-based sources such as delimited text files and OpenOffice or Excel spreadsheets. You can press F1 from this window for more information about the supported file types and the requirements for each one. For this video, I'm going to select Excel as our data source type, and then select a sample spreadsheet. At this point, you will be presented with the data mapping window. This window will show you the contents of the first row of the data source file, with each piece or column of the data on a separate line. If the data source is a true database file, the first column will show you the actual column name. Otherwise, it will be an automatically generated column name. The Map To column indicates where the information in the Data column will end up when the data import is completed. When importing from a file-based source, Atrex makes the assumption that the first row of the source file contains a header, which indicates what that column contains, and will attempt to automatically map that column to the corresponding Atrex data field. In some cases, it's helpful to see additional rows of information to help determine where the data should go. To move through the source data, you can use the navigation buttons on the right. You will need to specify where each piece of information is to end up when it's imported into Atrex. To do this, double-click on one of the rows or highlight a row and then click on the Map To button. This will bring up the field mapping dialog to allow you to specify where the highlighted information should go. You will do this for each individual piece of data that you wish to move over into Atrex. If you don't want a piece of information to be imported, simply leave it unmapped or highlight the item and click the Skip button. When the import is processed, anything that is not mapped will be skipped. At the bottom left of the mapping window, you will see two import options. The import mode indicates how the data is to be processed. Insert and update will both create new data and update existing data if there is a matching record. Update only will update existing matching records but will not create new ones. Insert only will only create new data, skipping any matching records if they already exist. The key fields used for matching records differs with each data type being imported. As we are importing inventory for this example, Atrex will attempt to match on the stock code. If the first row of your source file is a header row used to identify the columns, uncheck the Import First Record checkbox to prevent the header information from being imported. For some imports, you may want to set a field in Atrex to a specific value, even if there is not a corresponding column in the import file. To do this, click on the Defaults button. In this example, we want to set the unit of measure field to the abbreviation for each for every record that is imported. When setting the default for a Boolean field, you can use T and F or the words true and false to specify a value. Add as many of the default values as you want and then click the OK button when you have finished. If you think that you will need to repeat the import process again for the same or an identical source file, you can save your mappings to a map file and then reload them again at a later time. When you have finished mapping the fields, click the OK button and confirm the start of the import. When it's completed, it will display the number of records processed along with how many records were inserted or updated. Here we can see the 4 stock codes that we just imported. When importing data, please keep in mind that once the import is started, the Atrex data is updated immediately. As such, it's always a good idea to make a backup of your existing Atrex data before importing. And that brings us to the end of the Atrex importing tutorial. Thank you for watching.